just so I don't end up cutting into a bunch of fruit. Like, I don't want to break a bunch of eggs. I'm going to try to do this video also in one take. Even if you end up seeing the coffee stains all over my magenta sweatpants, as you probably did in the egg video. Yeah, I do drink a lot of coffee. This is the papaya video, and why am I making a papaya video? Papayas are everywhere. They're almost everywhere. Reason is because I wanted to talk. I just washed it off a little bit. This I wanted to talk about Colombian papayas, and this one is now deliberately overripe because you're not going to eat this papaya. I'm going to eat it, and this is the way I like my papayas. This is a Colombian papaya, and this is the smallest Colombian papaya I have seen this year. I have seen them smaller occasionally, okay, but not for a year. And I've been waiting for a small enough one that I can justify the price of buying it in order to make a video out of it. Will anybody else also eat this papaya? Maybe not. It's pretty overripe at this point. It's pretty ripe. It's probably for me. It's got a nice soft spot there. So why Colombian papayas? Okay, now if you had a Hawaiian papaya, you're probably thinking, why am I interested in a Colombian papaya if it's about the same size? It's not normally about the same size. The size though is interesting because as fruit get larger, principle is that we expect them to become more watery or pulpy and less flavorful or less sweet. And with these, I find that is not the case for some reason. It seems like whatever makes them larger may also be making them more aromatic or sweeter. It's hard to be sure, but don't assume that whatever the content is of Hawaiian papaya is going to be diluted by a larger papaya. If you get a big papaya in Colombia, that's not how it works. These papayas are very different. Saying, well, I already had a Hawaiian papaya. It was yeah. It's like, well, why would I want to try lobster when I've already had canned tuna? That's the comparison that my wife made, and I kind of agree with it. Now, if you're in Hawaii and you're, how dare you say that? Okay, when Colombians try Kona coffee, they suddenly discover why they have not found it convenient to try Kona coffee before. So there are some things in Hawaii that are absolutely amazing. That I would go back to Hawaii only. I did not enjoy Hawaii. I would go back there for the coffee. Maybe. Okay. Papaya, though, a Hawaiian papaya seems to be a kind of papaya that every Colombian tries once. Thinking, ooh, they brought this all the way from Hawaii. It must be really, really good. If it's here competing in the stores with all these papayas, not only from Colombia, but also from other places. And I think the explanation is that the companies that control fruit movement have some kind of agreement with Hawaii that in order to stay in pineapple, for example, they have to take some number of papayas and distribute them also. So inevitably some Hawaiian papayas end up in Colombia. And a few Colombians I know who've tried them are always thinking, are they supposed to taste like that? Is that even a papaya? So I'm not trying to insult Hawaii too much, but I'm telling you, if you come to Colombia and you see Colombian papayas, make sure that they're Colombian. Don't dismiss the experience based on anything that happened to you in the United States with Hawaiian papayas, for example. When I first moved here, I would somewhat often see not only papayas from specific regions of Colombia, which you'll still see, but also Cuban papayas. And I'm not certain that the change in the relationship between the United States and Cuba explains why I'm no longer seeing Cuban papayas. If they're going to the United States, yeah, great. Have you tried a Cuban papaya? They're pretty good. They're the two times that I've tried them, they've been on par with Colombian papayas, but they're really, really exquisite papayas that I can distinguish by smell. Okay, seem to be distinctly Colombian. So it's not. If you pick one at random, it might not be so great. But I go by smell, and I'm sorry that you can't smell this. because to me it smells like it's perfectly ready. So, like I said, you're not going to be eating it, so you don't need to worry about how ripe it is. Likewise, when it's your turn to scoop out papaya, you may cut it lengthwise, like they do in the store, to show a maximum amount of the interior. My preference is to cut it like this. Okay? And it seems like every video I'm holding things up, two things up like this, and somehow that ends up in the... Okay, but that's what it is. You can see how much space there is actually fruit, and how much space is seeds. When you cut them lengthwise, depending on the shape of the interior of papaya, it may look larger than it really is, or smaller. But I'm always complaining that video doesn't show the color. Okay. Ooh, there. So, but this color is it's like I said about the eggs. It's a deep orange color that I have not. You know, Hawaiian papayas, I know they're orange inside. Yeah, I think if you saw them right next to each other, you'd think something was different. And this, I find this to be sweeter and not quite as skunky, for lack of a better term. I like things that are skunky, but in this case, I think the sweetness is much greater for these papayas. So and at this point, the video is almost 7 minutes long, and I've almost run out of things to say. So I'm just going to give you a report on this specific papaya. Oh yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous that I live in Colombia, and because of everything happening here, I had not bought a papaya for over a year. Wow. Wow. Just look at the look on my face. I'm looking at it. Wow. Don't miss this when you come to Colombia. Do not miss it.